Hi and welcome back to part 3 of the Christmas wreath and garland tutorial. So we've got our wreath prepared, all the wool's wrapped around it. We've made our orange and lemon slices, or just orange slices, various shapes, colours, however you've decided to blend them. You can find all of those instructions in part 1 and 2. So now we are going to make our chili peppers, which are really easy. And the secret weapon, again, one of my favourite tools in my felting arsenal, is the wooden barbecue skewer. It makes life so much easier, allows you to create really nice, firm shapes that are really sort of tight and smart and symmetrical. You can use it for all sorts of applications when it comes to felting. Brilliant when you want to get legs exactly the same size, you want to get them firm and you don't want to use a wire armature. There's actually no need to use a wire armature unless you're wanting to make something that's really poseable, or you're going for something that's quite large and then you may want to put some wire in the legs or the ears. But this sort of covers most things as far as creating all those different aspects of your needle felting projects are concerned. So that and a cookie cutter is also a good thing to have to create those nice perfect circles. So we'll get going. So I'm going to use I've got 2 different colours here. So this is the red that I've used in the ribbon, in the red wool ribbon in the previous video tutorial. So that's like a true red. That's a warm red. And then I've got a slightly cooler red here, which has got sort of undertones of purple and blue in it. I am going to use wool top for this. Now, the reason I'm using wool top is that you can use carded wool, but I'd just like to use this because I find it slightly easier to get a really nice, firm finish on the barbecue stick, because it's in long lengths and it doesn't pull away. The carded wool is in shorter lengths, so it tends to tear more easily. Because this is in long lengths, the wool fibres, which are like little scales, they all sort of grab hold of each other and make it really tight. So this is perfect for wrapping around your skewer. And we're just going to go for a sort of an average chili size, which I don't know, probably about 3-4 inches, something like that. So you can twizzle the end if you want, just to mat it a little bit, and just hold it on there, and then just start to wrap around your stick. And the trick really is to keep it nice and flat, because we don't want it all bunching up. And then once you've got it going, you can just continue to turn. And then when we've got it wrapped a few times round, we can just secure it with a few pokes of our needle, not too many. And the reason wood works best is because the wool tends not to sort of slip around it as easily as it would, say, if you were using a knitting needle. You can use it, but it just takes a little bit more effort. So keep your thumb and your finger there at the base to stop it stretching and getting too long, and then at a diagonal, just work your way up the stick. Don't worry too much about all of this now, because this is all going to be covered up. We're just trying to create a long sort of shape at the moment. Hold it there, keep your fingers out of the way, and just work down the side of that stick. You go down the side, because if you hit it very hard, we'd have to hit it quite hard because this is a size 38 needle, so it's pretty firm. You may break the needle or bend it. And that's all I'm doing. It's just so it just holds. And then I'm going to sort of, I think I'll just keep that. That's going to be the length. And then we're going to work back down at a diagonal angle, because this is going to be at the tip of our chili pepper now. And again, just twizzle that, and that excess, just start to build that base. And it's a really simple process. You've just got to keep working it. I've got some loose here, so I'm just going to fold that in with my needle. You see, that's going to be the base that we're going to build up. And they can be any size, like I say, it can be big chilies, small chilies, whatever size you like. And really the stick does most of the work. And then what you can do is start to sort of firm it up while it's on the stick. Always best to do it this way. If you take it off the stick now, it'll be really loose inside, and it's not big enough yet, and you'll start to lose that shape. So we'll just keep it there. And you can also, if you want to, you just roll it in your hands to smooth it out. That's often a good thing to do when you're finishing. And if something's not quite long enough as well, you can actually lengthen it that way. I'm going to take a little bit more wool. Now this, I don't know if you've noticed, but this is sort of the thickness of your wrist, and you don't want to be wrapping that whole thing around. You're just taking a piece. And again, I'm going to just start at the base, just felt in a few wisps. And once that's holding, then just wrap that around there. And you see how now we're just really sort of focusing on that base. Build that up a little bit. And as I said, there's very little actual felting going on here. You're just really sort of just securing it. Because you've used the stick, it's really firm. And what that's going to allow you to do is actually bend the chili shapes. And again, no need for wires, because you've got that really compact shape. So keep it nice and firm. Do you see how I'm pulling that nice and firm? And we're building this up here. I'm probably using, I don't know, maybe 2-3 grams of wool per chili on average, for your average size chili, whatever an average size chili actually is. And then again, we start to continue to turn, and now we're just going to move up diagonally here. I always think of Harry Potter when I use that word. You know, the part where they're going shopping, they've got to go through the fireplace, and he's supposed to say Diagon Alley, and he says diagonally, and he ends up being thrown out on his bum at the other side. There we go. So you see how now I've got a really nice point there, and make sure you get this felted in. And don't worry if it's not perfect. Again, we'll just roll it in the palm of our hands before we take it off here. And then it will just slide off, and we'll do some final firming up, not much, and just check the shape, and it'll be ready to pop the little green cap on. And again, we want to have that nice, we want this flat here, or flattish, because this is where we're going to put our little green cap on there. And use the needle diagonally, can you see? And what that does is, you don't need a fine needle for this, but if you use it in this direction, it reduces any needle marks that you may see. No, that's fine. Okay, and then I'm just going to roll that in my hands. And can you see how that's really nice and smooth? That's a lovely finish to that. And that's the other thing as well with wool tops. You get that really kind of almost like when you're using dyed wool, you get almost like a sheen. It's like a little sheen to it. It's really nice. And there we go. And then just pull that off the stick, and there we go. And then just felt that end where there's a little hole now where you've pulled it off the stick. And can you see how it's gone really wispy there? That's fine. Just roll in the palm of your hand, and you can either flip that over or trim it with scissors. And then if you want a really pointy point, get it between your finger and your thumb. Just to get that nice finish. And can you see, because it's really firm, I'm just going to go right through the center just to close that hole up that was in there. You don't really have to, but I like to. And then can you see now how that will bend like a chili pepper without you actually having to do anything? And then I've got this really nice, this is some green carded wool. Again, wool top's fine. This is just a really nice green that I have. You don't need much at all. Just fold that sort of into a little circular shape, and then just felt and bring those edges in until it holds. Really, really easy, but this just is a really nice finishing touch. Take that off, pop that on top of your chili, and just felt in the middle and then down the sides. Be careful of your fingers here. Just go around the edges, making sure that that holds and it flattens a little bit. If it's sticking out, it looks a bit silly. And you can just leave it at that if you want, but you can use your needle to sort of create more shape. Again, just flatten this a little bit more. See how I'm using that needle to just create more shape and dimension. And you can use it, just be careful, don't drag it too hard. You're just teasing that wool away with your needle, that's all. You're not forcing it. That's it. And it's quite random. There's no, sort of specific technique to that. So just get it on and just find the shape that you like. And then we want a little stalk. So I'm just going to roll this carded wool or wool top, whatever you're using, works exactly the same. I'm going to pop that on there, on top of the piece we've already added. And as you're doing that, that will actually draw that wool down to sort of keep its shape. Just go around those loose bits. And then if this is too long, you can just work that in a little bit more, but don't let it go in all the way. And then you can just twizzle that with your fingers just to tidy it up. And that is your chili pepper ready to add to the Christmas wreath that you started in parts 1 and 2. So what I've now got here is my almost prepared wreath, and as I said before, there's no need for any sewing because all I've done is just felted these slices onto that polystyrene hoop. Now, if you want to really put them on firmly, then just put a couple of stitches through to the back of the hoop, just to really sort of secure them. But there isn't any need, as long as you make sure they're stuck on quite well. You could even glue them on, but then that's, once you've glued them, then that's it. They're stuck. And then so I've got some little lemon pieces here, and then I've got some bigger orange slices. And do you remember when I said in the other tutorial that to make them sort of quite thick, it's so that you can bend them. Because when they come out of the oven, they're obviously all sort of kind of distorted and shrunken because all the water's been taken out of them throughout the heating process. So it gives that more realistic look. And then you just pop your chili pepper on, and this is one we've just made, wherever you kind of want to add it, and just poke through. So you're poking through the chili pepper. Don't worry about any needle marks. We'll use our finger to get rid of that. You're poking through the chili pepper, through the slice, maybe just in a couple of places. Watch your fingers. And then just run your fingers over there where you've made that. I mean, you can also go, if you're going through the side, then you won't see any of that. And there we go. That's absolutely beautiful. And then what I've done here is I've used some wool top. That's a full thickness sort of piece of wool top, but if you could easily sort of half it lengthways down the middle and just tie it in a bow as you would a ribbon, and then you pop that on, and once it's on, you just again felt through, no need for any sewing, and then you just open up this wool top to give it that beautiful sort of Christmas present wrapped ribbon, and pop it on, and Bob's your uncle. Don't know who Bob is. Fanny's your aunt. Don't know who Fanny is, but it's a thing we say here. There is your glorious, beautiful Christmas wreath. Now, you can't buy these because it's handmade. It's a one-of-a-kind piece, you know, but you can buy similar things. But if you look at the prices and what they cost to buy and what it's actually cost you to make, it's a fraction of the cost. And the fact that you've made it and you can hand it this down year after year, wrap it carefully when you put it away in the Christmas box, and it will last for years and years and years. And then if you wanted to do it all again and make something, make a sort of combination of decorations with the chili peppers and the oranges, you can create a garland. And I've just used some wool yarn here. And when you thread it, make sure that you thread through kind of the top third, because if you don't, it'll have this tendency to swing in different directions. So if I just turn that round, I've gone sort of through the top third of all the slices so that everything sits. Otherwise it might just sort of flip over and look a bit odd. And then I've just added the chili peppers in, and then I've made these, as I mentioned before, made these lovely pom-poms. And the trick with the pom-poms is just follow a video tutorial, but when you cut the pom-poms, don't be frightened of cutting all that wool off, because that gives that really nice dense pom-pom. And I've sort of used a multicolored yarn here, but you can mix your yarns. You can make your own pom-pom holder with maker with cardboard, or if you've got one of the actual makers, they're really easy to use. And cut it quite close so that you get this really nice compact pom-pom. And I love that. That will be going on my fireplace, no doubt, with probably the wreath above it. I'm not quite sure, but we shall see. So there we go. Garland, wreath, whatever you want to make, that's how you do it. Super easy. Looks absolutely gorgeous. Looks like you've bought it in a sort of high-end craft store. Wouldn't look out of place in a centre spread for homes and gardens. It's just beautiful, I think. And I just don't think you can go wrong with that. Completely plastic free. I mean, I know you have the polystyrene, but it's not a throwaway item. This is something that you're going to keep and keep and keep. It's not a disposable item. And nothing more sustainable than this beautiful, pure 100% wool. So I hope you enjoyed that tutorial. Subscribe to get instant notifications for anything else that I pop up, and I do it quite regularly. And I hope you have a lovely, happy festive felting season. And thanks for joining me.